Welcome to Weekly Digest, where we highlight the work of ministers of government as they push the administration's development agenda. Picking up from where we left off last week, the $17.4 billion supplementary budget approved by the National Assembly on Monday was needed urgently, says Dr. Ashni Singh, Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance. Dr. Singh said the funds were for the well-being of all Guyanese and for local institutions to perform their functions.
These are initiatives, many of them are ongoing, many of them are extremely critical, many of them are needed now. In fact, I would say pretty much all of them are needed very urgently. The necessity for the financial papers was occasioned by the discovery of the gravity of the situation that we were facing, and also our recognition of the importance of an aggressive implementation schedule.
Financial paper number 2 of 2019, totaling $4.15 billion, which deals with the contingency fund, was also approved. This money was spent by the previous APNU-AFC government while in caretaker mode. A tripartite agreement for the advancement of medical education in Ghana has been signed between the University of Ghana, the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, and the Ministry of Health. A 9-member committee has been set up to continuously review the policy regarding clinical training of medical students and other areas.
I think the joint committee that was mentioned by the CEO would now have, once we sign off on the agreement, would now have to meet on a regular basis and move this process forward. So I guess the three of us here, CEO, myself, and the VC, we would be monitoring the process of what the joint committee would be doing. And I guess periodically we'll want to have reports and updates on the progress of this MOU.
The agreement also ensures the university's medical program retains its accreditation. The MOU was signed by Minister Anthony, CEO of GPAT Brigadier Retired George Lewis, and UG's Vice Chancellor, Dr. Paloma Mohammed. 14 container courtrooms to facilitate virtual hearings have opened at the Lusignan Prison East Coast, Demerara, to ensure speedier trials for inmates while also ensuring their protection during COVID-19. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, the Honorable Mober Anil Nandlal, said the historic and unique initiative is part of government's technological drive.
The executive and the judiciary have joined hands together in creating a completely new addition to the criminal justice system. This was done without any compromise to the hallowed constitutional doctrine of separation of powers, which binds both institutions.
Minister of Home Affairs, the Honorable Robeson Ben, said the new annexes will make up for time lost. He noted a more rehabilitative approach should also be taken towards inmates.
And that could only be made possible when we undertake initiatives like these in terms of this virtual court system, and also too in the programs we are advancing now in respect of building new prisons here at Lusignan, which we have just initiated in terms of the foundation works. We intend to build just now, over the next year or so, much better circumstances, physical circumstances, rehabilitative circumstances for persons who find themselves here at Lusignan.
Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Yonet Cummins Edwards, and Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George also attended and spoke at the launch. Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Frank Anthony, says government will not force anyone to take the COVID-19 vaccine when it becomes available. During Tuesday's COVID-19 update, Minister Anthony said the new immunization legislation to come is meant to guide the process of vaccination among the country's adult population, as current immunization laws only govern the protocol among children. He added that consultations will be held with the relevant stakeholders.
These bills, first of all, are not developed in a vacuum. They're developed out of real problems, real things that people see can become problems, and they're designed to fix those. So in its first instance, it's rooted in a particular context. In this context, we know that the only way that you can exit this pandemic is if people are immunized. One way that you can get immunity is through a vaccine. Now, if the legislative framework in the country does not provide for adults to get vaccines, then I think we have a challenge here.
The minister is encouraging citizens to participate through their parliamentary representatives. A week ago, Minister Anthony tabled a motion in the National Assembly emphasizing the seriousness of the COVID-19 pandemic in Ghana and urging members to support the efforts on the way to address the disease. Dr. Anthony had explained that a greater percentage of the population needs to be immunized against the virus. Also on Tuesday, the Ministry of Housing and Water brought down the curtains on its 2020 Dream Realized Land Allocation Program. The final event saw 300 residents of Region 6 receiving their house lots. Minister of Housing and Water, the Honourable Colin Crowe, said the ministry was able to make its mark for the year in Regions 3, 4 and 6.
The total allocations we'll be making within those three regions will accumulate to 3,600. And that, in under 5 months being in office, ladies and gentlemen, that is no easy feat. And we could not reach to this point today if we don't acknowledge the support and the role of His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali.
The ministry initially had a 3,000 target for the year set by President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali. Minister Kroll also announced major infrastructure works for the region next year. Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, the Honourable Susan Rodriguez, said the ministry is keen on providing sustainable community hubs.
We want to ensure that there is occupancy in all of our communities so that you can have neighbours, and that within your communities you can have businesses and shops and supermarkets that you can go to so that you can feel like you're part of a wholesome community.
Minister of Agriculture, the Honourable Zulfikar Mustafa, and a team of officials on Tuesday visited several villages at Blackbush Polder Region 6 after receiving reports of cash crop farmers and residential areas being affected by flooding caused by inclement weather.
Over the last 5 years, there were no cleaning with these machinery in the polder. So I intend to send about 4 pieces of machinery here to do all the works until the work are completed.
Minister Mustafa said the survey will be conducted to determine the extent of losses and damage. Additionally, the minister noted that mechanisms will also be put in place to ensure 24-hour operation of the pumps and sluices.
We have taken on some people from the community to monitor the sluices and the pumps so that they can have maximum drainage.
The ministry's team included officials from the National Agriculture Research and Extension Institute and the Ghana Livestock Development Authority. Rehabilitation and reconstruction works will soon begin on 3 streets in the city. This exercise is expected to cost approximately $314 million. Minister of Public Works, the Honourable Bishop Juan Edgell, accompanied by Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, the Honourable Nigel Darmalal, Minister within the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development, the Honourable Anand Prasad, and a team from the Works Ministry inspected the streets on Tuesday last.
This is just part. The Affiance Road that I visited at Tamiri the other day is awarded. Houston, Horstelling, these back streets that, some people fix the front, and if you never walk and go down to see what's happening in the back where the taxis put off the people and they have to walk the long distances, we've gone there, we have worked, we have walked those streets, we have seen them, and we are bringing remedy.
A contract to the tune of $275 million has been awarded for the reconstruction of the road that runs parallel to the University of Ghana. That road has been deteriorating for many years despite frequent upgrades. Another contract in the sum of $39 million was also awarded to XL Engineering to upgrade Owen and MacDougall streets in Kitty. Minister Edgell also on Tuesday announced that residents of Etringbang will soon be awarded a contract to the tune of $500,000 to clear the edges of the airstrip there. The minister made the announcement during a site inspection at Etringbang Airstrip, Region 7, Kearney-Mazaruni. 20 residents from Etringbang will, over a 5-day period, slash and remove the bushes on the sides of the 2,100-foot airstrip. The width of the airstrip is supposed to be 50 feet, however, only 34 feet is available for planes. The remaining 16 feet is overrun by bushes on both sides.
The Guyana Civil Aviation Authority will have to supervise the installation of new cones to ensure we meet the regulations. Those cones will also be supplied by the Ministry of Public Works, our maintenance section. Safety of our people on road, water, and those who travel by air are priorities for this government. So whether it's our ferries, whether it's our roads, whether it's our airstrips, whether it's our airplanes that have to bring us into these parts, we want to emphasize safety, and everything will be done to ensure the safety of our people, the tourists that are coming, the Guyanese that are using it, and all and sundry.
On Wednesday, Anson McCall Group of Companies, through the Anson McCall Foundation, donated 100 Amazon Fire tablets to the Ministry of Education. During the simple handing over ceremony at her Brickdam office, Minister of Education, the Honorable Priya Manikchan, announced that the tablets will be distributed to students in the hinterland.
These will go mainly to hinterland children. We are doing sort of a pilot with the children who are presently writing CXE, who will be writing CSEC in 2021, and trying to give them not only the ability to be taught by teachers on the coast, but also to have support material uploaded onto these. And so this is very timely.
The Education Minister lauded Anson McCall for its commitment to meeting community needs and thanked the team for the timely donation. Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, the Honourable Susan Rodriguez, has assured some 1,200 residents of Good Fortune, Essequibo Islands West, Demerara, Region 3, that they will receive improved water supply with the rehabilitation of the well in the community. During a community engagement on Wednesday, the minister said the work will begin this month. Her visit was in response to residents' plea for government's intervention.
We can't act white, right? We got to conduct our studies, which have started already because we've been aware of the situation in Good Fortune, and the CEO is actively working on that, Mr. Sheikh Baksh, and I have confidence in him that he understands the water sector and that the advice that he gives to me will be sound. So we will address that. But I also want to rehabilitate the existing well because it has to produce better water than that. That is unacceptable.
A feasibility study is ongoing to determine if potable water could be redirected through the Port-Royne treatment plant to service the residents of Good Fortune. The report for this study is expected soon. Another proposal the minister revealed is the installation of inline water filters.
Based on our accomplishments during this time, that we are serious about getting the work done. That this cabinet and this president is determined to deliver on our promises, to deliver on our commitments.
The minister also travelled to La Grange, where she held discussions with residents on water, housing and roads. Minister of Public Works, the Honourable Bishop Juan Edgell, has received the final report of an investigation into discrepancies at the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation's asphalt plant located at Garden of Eden, East Bank, Demerara. The investigation unearthed that the plant purchased coal mix from a Trinidad company registered in 2016, the same year the purchase agreement began. However, the asphalt plant advanced that company over $9 million in 2015, the year before it was registered.
There will be a specially convened sitting of the board of directors with us. Sole purpose to discuss this report and for actions to be taken thereafter.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, the Honorable Hugh Todd, says government hopes the International Court of Justice would finally put to rest the border dispute case between Guyana and Venezuela. Minister Todd made the comment during an interview on DPI's Progress Report program. He expressed confidence in Guyana's legal representation.
We're looking forward to a very fruitful and well-represented position from the Guyana side. I think we're very comfortable as a people for all that we've achieved so far. And I think the people of Guyana are very optimistic for an outcome that would see the next generation not having to go through this.
Minister Todd reiterated that Guyana stands firm by the 1899 arbitral award as complete and final. He said government does not want this matter to burden taxpayers and future generations.
It requires a lot of cost. It can affect investment. And we don't want the next generation to have to be spending taxpayers' money to go through this. I think it's a necessary expense, but it is not what we want to be spending money on. Not something that we believe that has been already final. And I'm hopeful that the kids today would not have to deal with that.
The ICJ has set January 15, 2021 as the date for the case management hearing. The Guyana Power and Light has over the past 4 months surpassed its generation needs but remains constrained by aged distribution and transmission systems. Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, the Honorable Deodat Indar, made this disclosure on the progress report.
So we have well over the amount of generating capacity between Kingston, Vredenoop, Gardner, Veden, Onvawat, and so on. What is the problem is the delivery. Is the delivery system to bring it to commercial businesses and to bring it to household.
Minister Indar said there are numerous faults along the distribution lines which result in blackouts and are expensive to replace. The minister relayed that the task could be executed in phases. GPL's board of directors and the government are exploring available options to address the issue. Currently, GPL utilizes drones to identify vulnerable areas along the lines that need to be replaced. Since assuming office, the PPPC administration has secured nearly 5 megawatts of power from the Giftland Mall through a power sharing agreement. The government has also imported gensets that produce 10 megawatts of electricity. As we wrap up, here's a look at First Lady Mrs. Arya Ali's visit to the maternity unit of the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation on New Year's Day. The First Lady thanked the maternity staff for their dedication in spite of the pandemic.
I must commend you all in this COVID time. We're all battling, each and every one of us battling this pandemic, but we'll make it through. And I just want to wish you all a happy, healthy, and a prosperous new year. And stay safe.
That's it for this edition of Weekly Digest. For these and other government-related information, do log on to our website, dpi.gov't.gy, and our social media platforms as well. Goodbye.